All right, we are back here with Adam. We got Adam and Adam on the show.
Hi.
It's like a mirror. It's like
A really ugly mirror.
I knew there was going to be something coming. This is going to be an extremely long interview, mainly because it's going to be a lot of groaning and sighing at the horrible humor that's about to come out. No, but Adam from Meinl, Adam better known as Adam from Meinl.
That's what people know me as.
That is true. We're just going to keep repeating each other because we have the same thoughts at the same time. That's how our names work. See?
Yes.
What am I thinking of right now?
Chicken.
That's exactly right. 100%. He's got me pegged.
How
All
many
right.
numbers are behind your back?
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
Still chicken.
It is still chicken.
Yeah.
I won't show the audience. So, moving forward, let's talk about how you got involved, first of all, in just drumming in general.
What's that?
Well, he doesn't know a lot, folks. We're just like, when you use the sticks. And
Oh, right.
Right, exactly.
Well, I mean,
How did it start? How did it start for you?
I was
How'd you
born-
end up here?
I
That's
was-
really what we're getting at. How'd
I
you end
took
up here?
a plane and then I drove.
Yeah, but we're just going to go way before that.
Okay. Well, I was born at a very young age, and no, I mean, I had a semi-musical family back in growing up. My mom sang, and Sweet Adeline still does, and played in band in high school, and so I mean, did piano when I started piano when I was like 5. Did choir in grade school, and then when 5th grade comes around to start playing, join band. I'm like, I want to play drums, and they said, no, you're not mature enough to play drums. Which even at that age, I was like,
You're like, wait a minute.
it's drums. I'm like, okay, well, I'll fine. I'll play trombone, and then they're like, no, you can't play a brass instrument because you're gonna mess up your teeth worse than they already are, and braces later on.
Wow, yeah.
I'm like, so I did saxophone, and then in junior year, we had a new drumline instructor in high school, and he's like, any kid not in drumline who wants to learn how to play drums, come after school on the non-band days, and
Perfect.
and so I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And then at the end of that first semester, I told my parents I'm going to switch to drums, and they said, no, you're not. I'm like, well, then I'm going to quit band. And they're like, no, you're not. I'm like, well, then I'm going to actively fail. And they said, you can play drums. And then I had to do the same thing to the band director.
Nice,
And then, so year and a half of drums, and then I went to college. Actually chose the college I went to based on the hats they used in marching band.
Oh, as you should.
As not the academics, but it turned out to be a really great school.
Yeah,
for
what
music
school
business.
was this?
I went to Western Illinois University.
And more importantly, what did the hats look like?
I was just purple Aussie hats with I mean,
Yeah, Brad.
it's fine. The hindsight, they weren't as cool up close. They looked as cool in the picture.
Don't Google it. Everyone's Googling it.
And then majored in music business to focus on percussion, and then immediately got a job teaching at a music store part-time, filling in for people, and then said, okay, you really need to have me on the floor, and then I sold drums for 6 months, less than that, and then
That's all you can only last 6 months in this business. Hey, it's hard. Not everyone can do it. Not everyone has what it takes, folks.
I had met the vice president at the time of Meinl through industry contacts, through school contacts and alums, and just bugged him, sent him an email every 6 months going, you have any job openings? You have any job openings? You have any job openings? He finally said, we have a job opening.
Perfect.
And I said, I'll take it. Wait, no, what is it? And then, and what is it? Can I, is it pay enough?
Right. Do we get paid?
Can I afford to live?
Sure.
But I already said I'll take the job. So
Nice.
And then 16 years later, I got this spot on a podcast called Drum K. I'm not much of a reader.
It's okay. It's okay. You don't need it.
So it seems to be working out.
So yeah, and then what happened after the podcast?
After the podcast?
Yeah, what happened after the podcast?
We'll see.
We'll see.
Find out.
We'll find out together.
Tomorrow is another day.
Tomorrow is another day. Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm sure a lot of folks who have worked in the retail industry in some fashion know that you got to get the stuff from someone. Someone else has the stuff. You buy the stuff. You sell the stuff. That's basically how it breaks down, folks. And there are people who work for the people who have the stuff, and that's you. And so this is a way that I find out what's new. That's what we were talking about earlier, is those product launches, things like that. He's the one that educates us. So
Yes.
if we don't know what you're talking about and it's a Meinl product, it's this man's fault.
Or they just didn't listen.
That's true. Or we didn't listen. I'd put more in that category. No, but just a quick question here. Who's the best drummer?
Yes.
Okay. I just
The
thought I'd
drum.
keep you on
Well,
your
you
toes.
know, hang on. You could. The drummer from Yes could be.
Oh,
Although
yeah.
he is a pretty good drummer. Let's
you
put that
go.
out there. That would be the one. Yes, Bill. Billy B.
William?
William Bruford.
William Bruford. Good pick. Yeah, so if you could quickly talk about just a little bit about what you do. I know when I emailed you about this, you said maybe I should figure out what it is I actually do. If there are folks out there looking to be a part of the industry, don't necessarily want to be on the retail side, potentially they live in Music City, the city of brotherly music. Is that what it's called? Nashville? The city of brother everything. We're close to Philly, so.
The left kahuna, right?
That's what it's called. Yeah. Nashville. Yeah.
Nashville, yes.
That's a good place to start because there are a lot of companies
There are a lot of companies there.
there.
And they're all hiring. We're all hiring.
We're
And some position is open.
Yeah. Yeah. So say someone wants to do this or is looking at different options. What is the role of a rep?
What rep stands for representative?
Good. Good. You have that written on your hand. I see that.
I represent. I'm the contact. If anyone has any I have a territory of stores. Most usually people have a little region and they stick to all the stores in that region. Meinl does things a little differently, and we try and find the right fit. I have a general region, but then there's stores like, oh, this guy may not know, or this guy, I think I don't get along with him. Like, you want to try it, and then someone else starts doing that one. I've passed off stores, I've gained stores, and so I don't really. I mean, I have somewhat of a territory, but I go to all the stores, and I say, "Hey, buy my stuff," and they go, "Why?" I'm like, "Because people want it," and then if you sell it, and then they have it, and then it's perfect.
Yeah.
But I stand behind the product that I'm selling, which isn't something that is necessary, but it definitely helps with some.
Of course. Yeah.
Some legitimacy and
Of course, yeah.
the other words that I can't think of.
Yeah, but you also are a drummer too.
Yes.
You know, there are a lot of disconnects in the industry where, you know, hey, I'm going to be your so-and-so rep. And you're like, oh, yeah, what are you playing? Or what do you think of these hi-hats? And it's like, well, I primarily play bass. Or,
We have a few of those guys too.
you know, there's always a little bit of that. So it's really awesome having your insight into the product. I can be like, hey, give it to me straight. What are these things like? How do they compare to this from 10 years ago? And you can tell me because you were there.
And thanks. I am old. Yes.
It's true.
I mean, I wanted to work for Meinl when I discovered them in early college, which was way back in, walked uphill 40 miles to school in the snow both ways.
He's older than he looks, folks.
And like Meinl wasn't even on the map yet at that point, and I discovered them, and I'm like, oh, these guys are doing something different. I like that, and I always like to work for the underdog. Always liked the underdog brand, and someone who's making something awesome that's just as spans the full range of entry level all the way to so boutique. It's really just for one person. Like there's all that whole range, and not many companies do all of it and are still like unknown. But Meinl in the U.S. was at the time,
Right.
so it was cool to get involved and like just had to work for them. So I guess I put it on my spirit board and just willed it into existence.
You willed it into existence.
Which I kind of did. I whittled down someone's patience, and they just finally offered me a job. But
That's a great strategy. It's called tenacity for these fancy folks who read these reeded folks.
Yeah. Being a massive gearhead really helped with it all. Like I actually didn't get hired to do sales initially. I got hired to put in the merchandise displays in stores, and after a couple months, and then work in the warehouse and when I wasn't traveling. And after a couple months of doing that, the president of the company realized that I knew the catalog better than everyone else in the building combined. So they're like, well, let's put him into sales. And I'm like, cool. What do I do? We'll call the store, see if they need anything. And they gave me a list of like 40 stores that were already active, and 30 minutes later, 40 minutes later, I'm like, now what? No one needed anything. And that's definitely changed. Now I dodge calls from people that I don't want.
Hey, now.
I mean, no, I
He's
never
pointing at
dodge
me.
any.
Now I dodge calls.
No.
Hey,
Sorry, I'll
say
be out
this.
of the office.
I
You
wanna
know, when
say-
your canned messages have typos in them, I know that you're just typing them out. One for me. No, what?
I want to say that you are so good at merchandising that you still do it, especially for the NAMM show. They have you come out and
Yeah.
merchandise that whole area, right?
Yeah, you're still recruited for merchandising.
Yes,
For at location for
Yeah, I'm-
displaying the new stuff, but then also at the NAMM show, like we were talking about.
Yeah, when we do trade shows, I am the trade show coordinator, and then I'm still in charge of all the merchandise displays, and I come up with packages and stuff, and see how much how much flour 10 pounds of flour in a 5-pound sack or whatever the non-vulgar phrase is, and
Yep.
like how it's just trying how can I fit all this on there because there's
Yeah.
I mean, we have suggestions for like here's what to stock based on top sellers and stuff. And I initially, when I first made that like 10 years ago, I was like, all right, as a drummer, classically trained drummer who's but also aware of it.
Right.
Like,
right.
and I start like writing down I get my order sheet out and I'm like, all right, we need one of these, one of these, one of these, 2 of these. Okay. Well, if I was in it, like, what would I want to see in a drum shop or in the drum section to make me want to buy something, even if I don't even have money for it, let alone need anything. And I'm like, all right, I need to get it to be around, maybe if I could get around like a $5,000 thing. And then I clicked all the things and I like scrolled
Yeah.
back up to the top to look at the total. And I'm like, I'm going to need to shave some of this off of there because that is $37,000.
Yeah. Yeah, and
And that was just me going, what do I want to see?
what would you want to see? Exactly. That's something that we talk about all the time. Sean and I talk about the fact that in our ideal world, we have 3 of everything in the catalog. But like you said, Meinl covers the full spectrum. So it's very much like what do we want to see? What is interesting? What types of things are working? What isn't? And that's where we rely a lot on not only our own opinions, but customer feedback.
Yeah. It's what
Like,
consumers
huge.
want. Is,
Exactly. That's what we're trying to do here. What determines that? We started to carry a lot of products that were recommendations or, based on, hey, if you want to see something, let us know. We'll either get it in for you right away, or if, you're not going to buy it today, that's fine. We're going to make a note about that. And if we, see interest somewhere else, we'll shift and we'll change, adapt.
and consumers, everyone out there, if you don't see it doesn't matter what you're in, drums, clothing, golf, cars, whatever, if you don't see what you're looking for at a store, they can get it in. So
Yep.
if they have the brand,
Yep.
they can get it in. And if you don't tell them you're looking for it, they have no way of knowing you're looking for it.
Right. And they're never going to get
So
that
you
in.
can
Yeah.
you can keep going on and searching for the next place, the next place, the next place until you find it, or you can just stay up at the first one and say, "Hey, I'm looking for this." It's hard to practice what you preach. It's hard
Right.
to do that, but
Right.
you can find they can get
Yeah.
it in, and then they'll know people are looking for it, and you help the store grow and get better, and they'll do better in the future because
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
they'll have more inventory dollars to spend on. Like they can, all right, they just got that djembe in for you, and now maybe they can get like 4 extra tambourines for you to check out, or another cowboy, or that snare drum that maybe you didn't know you wanted to see, but now you get there and you want to see it, and
Yeah.
because you said I want to see this djembe.
Yeah. And it is truly like you have a lot of power as a customer to influence or just a visitor or whoever you are, even if you're out of town and you're in a drum shop and you're like, oh, that's interesting. You have this, don't have this, just talk about it. Talk about it with them. There might be a reason. There might be a shortage. There might be this. Not saying there are excuses for not having it, but they just might not know that folks are looking for that. And things ebb and flow. I mean, we were talking about cajones earlier, and and Sean cranked it up. He cranked up cajones.
This one, and
I
who
know.
makes the best?
Did you?
And
Meinl, absolutely.
Meinl makes the best.
But did you expect me to do that?
I could have gone either way with that one with you, because you're more the drummer.
Yeah.
Which
Drum set drummer.
I'm a garage band drummer.
which sometimes you get that acoustic gig.
Sure, absolutely. But talking about that, here's something that like the shift from having a whole room full of djembes to then the cajon kind of infiltrated that a little bit to having at one point at the old shop keeping like 40 some up to 50 cajones on the floor at all times when that was hot. That trend was because people showed interest in it. People talked to their drum shops. People started buying them. That's what happens. So the earlier you can communicate that, the better.
Yeah.
It benefits us. It benefits you. You'll have more selection of it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's simple.
Yeah. And you should always try an instrument out before you buy it.
Yep.
Especially the first time. Buy online is fine. For the second time, we already know you liked it. So
Right.
get another one.
Right. Yeah. And it's, and
It's always best. I always recommend to try it out first.
Yep, and we do a lot of we've been doing a lot of demo videos and social posts and stuff. That's just to pique your interest, so to be like, hey, that might be what it sounds like, but then come in and hear it. You know what I mean? And hopefully you have you're near us, or you have a local drum shop nearby that you can go and actually hear what it sounds like. That idea. As far as production quality, we're not going to put tons and tons of money into it to try to get it to sound like you're in the room, because realistically, you have to be in the room, or you're not wearing headphones. You're listening on your phone. You think you're listening to something on your phone, and you can tell it's a lot different when you're in person. You might get
Absolutely.
lucky. I'm not saying it's impossible, but like you said, the best thing is to be in person hearing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So, you've been in the music industry for a long time,
A few years, yeah.
a few years.
Years now.
You've seen a lot of drum shops.
I've
I'm
seen
not
a
fishing
lot
for
of drum
compliment.
shops.
I can see it bubbling on the back of your mind.
Oh,
You've seen a lot of drum shops. You are on two fronts with a drum shop. Every pro drum shop has percussion side of things, and every pro drum shop has the cymbal side of things, right? Cymbals and percussion. That is not the case with many other companies.
No.
You don't debate buying a Meinl or a Zildjian cajon.
Not yet. Who never?
Not yet.
Now
Hey.
she said something. Who knows what has
Yeah,
gonna happen?
well, this is where ideas are born, folks. The Zildjian cajons are the best. They're making them out of full bronze now. They weigh
that would be
500
an
pounds.
expensive
Oh my,
cajon.
very, very expensive. Oh no, but vice versa. And the percussion and the cymbal thing. I want to get your take on being involved with a company that kind of dabbles in both genres. And now the Meinl Sonic Energy stuff is an even different crowd.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of conversations about that. What is it like kind of talking with drum shops, talking with customers from all these different points of views?
All right. We do have. With Meinl, there's actually six different sub brands within it all, and they all have six very different demographics, different customer bases.
Okay.
But it still all falls together. Meinl is a German company. They and Mr. Meinl, the first Roland Meinl, he saw a void, and people needed some cymbals, and it wasn't really available in Germany in the 50s. Look at some history, you'll know why. So he started making cymbals mainly for working drummers and beginners, and because this is what was needed. Then when his son came in, Reinhold, he helped get things going with getting percussion stuff started, because there's another void that was needed. So it was all about just seeing voids and filling it. It was like they just wanted to work.
Yeah.
And the work needed to pay off. So what was needed? So that start doing some percussion, and then it turned into. So we had Meinl cymbals, Meinl percussion, and then we added Nino percussion, and we added Ortega guitars, which that's a whole other side of things, but it is a really good brand that Meinl owns and started out of necessity for stuff. And then we started the Sonic Energy, which is our sound therapy stuff. A world wildly untapped, but people see it as a part of percussion. So a lot of similar suppliers. So we started making that stuff.
Right.
And it's fast growing, and it's hard to grasp your head around sound therapy stuff. But it's huge market, and some really impressive stuff happening on it.
Yeah, and a lot of great products you're putting out too.
And then we had as a separate for a while our Viva Rhythm, which is our drum circle line of instruments, but we reabsorbed that back into Meinl percussion because it didn't really need to be as separate as we thought for that long. It did its purpose. We got it out there.
Yeah.
And then we recently launched our stick and brush line, and kind of out of necessity. There was Meinl is a distributor as well as a manufacturer in Germany, and in one all of a sudden the stick manufacturer pulled out that they were working with. Like, well, we need a stick. Let's just start a stick company. It'll be easier than trying to find another brand that wants to leave the distributor they're with. And
Just casually, Sean, let's start a stick company.
Sure.
Everyone at Meinl's doing it.
We already do it, Adam. We have our own brand of drumsticks. We have a lathe in the basement.
It's true.
hey,
If
this
you
is about
haven't
me
seen-
right now.
If you haven't seen the Drums Etc. basement, that's where we lathe all of our drumsticks, and we actually make the drums ourselves. That actually reminds me of a funny story. I remember at the New Holland location, the old shop. One time I was in the back shipping something. You know, we had like a back room. You remember?
Oh, yeah.
The back dock, loading dock.
It's a fun building.
It was a wild. It's like very Chocolate Factory-esque. Just weird parts tagged on here, weird shapes. But yeah, I remember I was back there just shipping stuff out. That's where we would pack and ship orders, that sort of thing. And I remember someone opening the door and being like, "Oh, sorry." And I was like, "Yeah, this is just where we, And then I walked out and they were like, "Oh, is that where you make the drums?" Clearly, this is someone on their first trip, not listening to Drum Key, the Drummers podcast here, knowing that there's a whole infrastructure behind drum shops and actually making the gear. But I just thought that was kind of funny. They were like, "Oh, that's where you make them," and I was like, tempted to be like, "As a matter of fact, that's where we do." No, I told them the truth. I fessed up. But yeah, it's wild to see the company change and grow and add what's necessary, absorb things, move, shift. It's just like we're talking retail. It's just adapting to what's going on.
Yeah. It's nice. As a gearhead, it's nice to just see, like, if you're going to be this innovative on the cymbal side of things, which we have so many interesting innovations we've had through the years. Some great, some not so great, but that's true with everybody.
Of course.
And then you can also do that with percussion, and being a just classically trained percussionist and I want to learn a little of everything. It's like being able to dip your hand in like this, all the different aspects of stuff without having to like work for 9 different companies is
Yeah.
it helps. It helps.
Yeah,
it helps keeps me focused and centered, and
Yep.
less likely for a mental breakdown. But we'll see if that's
Right. Isn't that interesting though? Sean and I talk about that. Is if we just have to do
You're all losing your minds.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We talk about that a lot. Isn't that what you're supposed to
It's
do?
not just me. Okay,
You're supposed to
good.
gather in a small room and talk about losing your minds together, right? That's what we're supposed to. I think we need a larger group. No, but we talk about the fact that like our days are bizarre. Like this phone call could happen. Someone walks in, does this. We're doing that. We're driving out to pick something up. We're dropping something off. We're shipping something. We're receiving. Like there are so many different directions that we get pulled in, and that's kind of what we enjoy. We kind of like the chaos,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about it. Could you quickly just, I wanted to ask you, because I know you've been involved in some design and some feedback and stuff for new products. I'm sure folks would be interested in knowing what that's like.
The design process?
Or like, hey, I had this idea with someone. But yeah, basically the design process from idea to prototype, that sort of thing.
Okay. I mean, the first thing, if any idea that we come up with is well, on my side, I like a lot of weird stuff. So I first tell myself when I have an idea, is like, all right, is this for me or is this like a real thing? An actual, like this is something that people actually want. And then after I talk myself into it and into it, out of it and out of it and into it and out of it, then I'll go and present it to. We'll just have R&D meetings. I work for the U.S. distributor. Meinl USA is officially just the distributor for Meinl in the Western Hemisphere. But we work very closely because the U.S. is a huge part of the world market. So we work very closely with them, and so we'll throw out an idea. One of the things that I had a big hand in is we have all our foot tambourines and shakers and all these things. And most of them strap on the front of your foot, and I'm like, that never made sense to me. I was like, I don't tap my toe, I tap my heel.
Tap your heel, yeah.
So I'm like, what if we did a heel one, and then
That was you?
and then I'm
I didn't
like,
realize
what if
you were
we
involved
put
in
the
that.
stuff on the other side, and
Yeah.
then I was like, what if it's just like a thing that goes down in the back of your shoe, and then my boss, he was like, you mean like a shoe horn? I'm like, that's it, that's the thing. So I went out and I bought some shoe horns, and I rubber banded some egg shakers to them, and
as
it
you
kind
do.
of worked out, and that was good. And then after we did that part, the next step was, well, what would this product thing sell for? That's kind of the next thing. What would people be willing to spend on it? So we look at like similar. We go online into stores and we try and find similar type products. Like what would this sell for? And the symbol, it's kind of easy. It's like, well, what series is it going to be in and what size? All right, that'll sell for that much. But some things, it's like we have to find equivalents and kind of like what would it be able to sell for? And then we go like, well, what can we make it for? Because like if it's a brand new product, like a new shape and all these things, now we got to make a new mold, which could be $20,000.
Right.
And if the item's going to be sell for $5, you got to sell a lot of units. So it's cost and effective ratio. Like, is it always worth it? And then once we do that, then we start making the prototypes on it. So prototypes do cost more because we don't have the molds. It'll be like a CNC machine, and we'll make all this stuff, and we'll back and forth, and a lot of mailing from the factories overseas or from the factory in Germany to the USA, and then we'll make some tweaks, and then we'll send it back, and we'll back and forth, and then eventually we just figure, okay, yes, now we can make it, but wow, can we still do that price point where the store can still make money, and Meinl can still make money, because people always forget, like the price of goods pays for people's cost of living, and that's one thing the Meinl prides herself in, is that we try and make sure that everyone is fairly compensated for their time and is able to survive working on our stuff with us or for us or on our stuff. It's like you may think that $9 is a lot to spend on XYZ product, but like it's got to pay for someone, like probably 30, 40 people on the low end have had some hand in getting it to you.
Yeah.
And they all want to make money too.
That's really interesting, though.
The fact that we can make our stuff as affordable as we can is really impressive to me, and I'm really happy.
It's capitalism.
It's very important.
To capitalism.
No, yeah, I that's awesome to walk us through that process. And so I think it's safe to say that you do more than just show up and say, buy the things, and if they want to buy the things, you write it down. And
that's why I had to figure out what I actually do.
I was going to say, you're very involved behind the scenes.
Yeah, for stores, I just always told myself, like, what would I expect on the other hand, if I was in the air position from the person who represents the company, and I try and do that. I don't always succeed on my end, but I hear that I do a lot more for for most of my stores than a lot of other reps do, or some other reps do. No offense to any of them, but
no.
I just because I'm just drowning thinking like, how can I get up? And I'm just trying to make sure that I have to do the least amount of work as possible.
Yeah,
in a sense.
Listen, that's trying to be efficient. It makes total sense.
No, very German of me, I guess. Very efficient.
Yes, very good. You're starting to develop an accent, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very good, yes.
Very efficient. No, but that's awesome walking through that process. And I'd like to use this opportunity. What you said reminded me is a ton of times, I mean, not every day, but we'll get folks coming in and they see an idea, like a shaker that goes, the shoehorn that goes in your key, something like that. And they're like, oh, well, I can make one of that. I can make one of those.
And make it.
Exactly. But you're paying $9 for it because someone made it. But also, they had all these meetings. They went through it. They're mass producing it. They have the mold. They're doing all this. So it's just, if you enjoy something, if you like the idea, if you're intrigued by it, you wouldn't have thought it yourself. Just support this drum shop, support the companies, because that's how these new things are funded, and that's how we evolve and change. And yeah, if you bought it 10 years ago and something used to be $20, and now it's $4, don't complain that you overspent. That was because it was early, You're a hipster. Yeah. You're a hipster. You got there before everyone else did. But no, that's really, really awesome. Thanks for walking us through that.
Christopher Walken
walking us through. All right, do it again. Do the whole R&D speech except as Christopher Walken.
It's crazy. I know. We're going to make some drums.
I think your next Instagram account is going to be you doing impressions talking about drums. That was pretty good. But speaking of that, this is my way of forcing a transition on you. Let's talk about your gram a little bit, your Insta.
The grams, the onlines?
The onlines, the intranet. I think it's what's called the intranet. No, but your page is like picking up crazy followers since we started following it.
I've had some
pretty
success
cool.
with that. It took 5-6 years before I had any kind of success, but I mean, symbol stacks are huge.
Big deal. And creating your own.
And I been telling stores, Instagram is a great marketing tool to get your info out there. It really costs you nothing. And it's just about content. It doesn't even really matter what the content is as long as you're putting out some content. And I was like, symbol stacks are big. Just grab any 2 symbols, put them together, there's a stack. And so I've just started doing it after suggesting it to some stores for a while. And just hard to get going. And I wanted content for myself, and I was trying to like alternate between do a symbol thing and then later in the week do a percussion thing, and then later, but who's got the time? Which is the problem at the store level. Everyone's always so busy.
You got to check your neon green watch and
yeah. Oh yes, yes. And so I just started doing symbol stacks, and a few years go by, and I'm like, oh, I got 1,000 views on that one, and one day one just took off, and I had like 10,000 views, and I was like, that's huge. I've made it.
Yes,
I'm
you've
internet
done it.
famous.
You did
and
it.
well, my hand is.
Yes, your
Because
hand.
it might occasionally be in the video. And then actually, I blew up huge on there with a blooper one. I had 2 splashes that I put together, and as a hi-hat, and which got all warbly, and like all of a sudden I watched in 1 week I had 150,000 views. I'm like, well, that's cool, and I'm like, it's a blooper reel.
Yeah.
And then it just kept blowing up, and I think it's at 1.6 million views now. It's kind of stalled. Wow. It's stalled.
Well, hey, that happens.
And it's made me think it's just the funny. Just people wanted to share, and I'm doing short clips and stuff. But I want to do more stuff. I don't want to just do symbol stacks.
Of course. Yeah.
I've got my list of ones people have asked me to do could get me one a week. If I did 2 a week, I'd still wouldn't be done until middle of next year. So I've got.
Well, this is what we're gonna do, folks. For all of you listening out there, let's bombard him with ideas. Let's make this list so long that he can't even get there. Pick 2 Meinl symbols.
Any 2. Current model, current production,
Meinl symbols, or percussion. Have you thrown
Yes.
Okay.
I've done some percussion ones.
Listen, he's done it. He's done it.
I
He's
have
tried it all.
access. I run the showroom out of the U.S. office, which is not open to the public, but we have a showroom. So if we have a dealer coming through, they can come check out everything, or to just do these videos and stuff.
One of everything.
Right? It is one of every symbol is in that room, and I can go grab if someone wants to hear the same 2 symbols stacked or hi-hatted together. I can go make that happen. But
yeah, if you got any ideas, add them from Meinl.
And if you any demo you want to hear
absolutely
a tambourine in a specific pattern or something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it out of time to make sure you can't just snake the audio and record but
there's just going to be random people yelling in the background, like the mic's going to be cutting in and out, like all this. You'll put a watermark on it for some reason, even though
I'm just using the cell phone microphone. It's because you're watching it on your cell phone anyway. It's just
that's it.
To get you an idea.
That's what I was talking about.
Then you come to
earlier.
the store and you go see it. Try it out in person.
And if they don't have it, you say, this is what I want.
Yeah, I saw this stack. Can you get it?
And if you have a nice, friendly local drum shop, they'll get it in, let you hear it before you have to buy it.
And if you ask them, if you ask your store owner nice enough, they can call Meinl and see if they can get the exact 2 symbols that was in that stack.
It's true.
Because I know which ones they are.
There you go. There you have it. It's that simple. So yeah, your all of your success, we now want a percentage of it because of the promotion here on Drum Key. It's written in your contract.
I didn't sign it.
You know that receipt you signed earlier for chicken wings? We got you. We got you. No, but that's awesome. I wanted to give you the opportunity to comment on anything that happened earlier in the show. We were talking about nylon tips, cajones, and crank it up, turn it down. Product launches, which we talked about a little bit, the R&D side, and drum industry news. The HCS cymbal pack in Hall of Fame, and the quick question: who's the best drummer?
Well, cajones, you got to crank it up. It's a drum set in a box. It's and it's very low learning curve. Everyone should have one, and it's a place to sit.
It's true. It's also a seat.
I will personally have to turn down nylon tips from a marketing or not marketing, but manufacturing standpoint. It's more money than what it comes out of, and but I mean they're out there. Everyone likes their own thing. I personally just grab whatever sticks on top of the pile.
Yep.
These
there you
days.
Go. Keep it.
What was the next thing we did? I can
we did talking about product launches.
Product launch. Just because it's very important to remember. Just because a company has announced a product, that does not mean it's available yet. It means it's in production. It's especially with shipping times. Meinl has over 7,000 products before you get, or when you include basic special spare parts. Kind of hard to get them all in one area. So, it's kind of like, hey, we announced all this stuff in January. We will have it before the end of the year. Usually we'll have it all before mid-spring, but it all depends on when the shipping shows up.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the HCS.
Well, thank you. You flatter us.
I know. I thought we were going to highlight some symbols at some point anyway. So
Yeah.
I thought it was a good week for it.
I mean, we have artists that play them out. The first time I heard the HCS stuff in person when I started at Meinl, I was like, ooh, wow. Damn, that is a giggable, and that's our affordable line.
Right.
Like
That's where it
that's
starts.
pretty awesome, and it's brass. Like it's giggable. I mean, it wouldn't be my first choice, but like I would gig that. I would gig it out of spite too.
Kick it out of
In
spite.
spite, out of spite.
Yep.
Because of, I would gig them. I sometimes think about like selling off all the symbols, and just having some HCS.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to carry them home? Just give them to someone.
Yeah.
There you go.
Throw just like a frisbee out into the audience.
Frisbee. Yeah.
It's nice and safe.
We
It's
do not
gonna-
recommend this at home. It's already dangerous enough that we throw drumsticks to an audience. I say we acting like I play to big crowds. I've never done that. I did throw a drumstick once, but the crowd was not drumstick throw worthy. I just kind of knew someone, so I chucked it at him. That's dangerous
and
enough.
You threw it and you give it back when we're done.
Yeah, we'll meet in the back. Yeah,
Put this in my stick bag.
Yeah, exactly. You're just trying to throw it into your car in the parking lot. Yeah, so that's very good. HCS's rule. And we talked about who's the best drummer.
Who's the best?
And you said yes
Yes.
to that question.
Correct.
Correct is the better answer.
The better. Don't ask people who the best is. Just who's their. I like who are your top 5, because that way no one has, in no particular order. No, because it's hard. I couldn't tell you who's even my favorite drummer. It changes every hour. I could probably give you a top 5, or 3 would probably always be on there. But ask people their top 5 albums, or their what's the thing when you're stuck on an island that's deserted?
Yeah.
Your deserted island. Marooned.
What's the thing? We asked the favorite thing. What
The
are your
thing with the
favorites
stuff?
The islands and the stuff.
No.
Desert
island.
I think that is a good thing, but the only problem with that is you just made the quick question even less quick.
Well, I think people just want to talk.
Yeah, it's just all about the gab.
Yeah.
It's all about the gab.
And
And then,
then, it's a podcast. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, it's true. And then moving forward, I'd like to get your take on the interview with our guest, Adam from Meinl today. Crank it up, turn it down.
The interviewer, great. The interviewee, wait a minute. Which one am I?
I think
Adam
did
would be
great.
really good.
Adam
did really
fantastic
good.
today.
Yes.
Adam was fantastic. All right, let's sign off. Do you know the sign off jingle?
You're writing the check for me now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. There you go. Sign off jingle. All right. So thank you guys for joining us here for another episode of Drum Key. If you want to contribute to the show, don't forget, leave comments below, of course. But we also have a Discord channel that we're trying to ramp up here, where we can talk back and forth and have more of a conversation. Throw your ideas there. Let us know. Send us a message, whatever. But support your local drum shop, folks. If you don't have a local drum shop, we'd be happy to adopt you into our family. Thank you for being here, Adam. That mug is your takeaway. You are allowed to take that. Good luck not breaking it on the plane.
Drink the water first.
Drink the water first. So that's yours. I definitely don't want it now. All right, folks. We will see you next time. Bye.